Alrighty, hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Adri Langemeyer. If you don't know me, I'm the director of this competition. We will be going through a PowerPoint, just talking about giving you guys the basic details about this competition if you've never participated before. I did this as a 1L, so it's been a minute since I've done it, and it's going to be different since we're doing it on Zoom this year, but most everything should be pretty similar about it. And yeah, if you have questions, just hold them until the end and let's dive in. So let me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see that? Let's give me a thumbs up somewhere. Cool, I see y'all nodding. Perfect. Okay. So this is just a little bit of information on why it's called the Lorance Thompson Negotiation and Contract Drafting Competition. It is from the firm Lorance and Thompson. So if you want to know about that, that is there. We will be providing these slides after I'm done with this session. Okay. So this is the best competition, in my opinion, because it is a one-day event. It takes place on Saturday, April 10th. Let me just make sure I'm giving you the right date. Saturday, April 10th. And it goes from the morning into the evening, depending on if you advance into the semifinal and final rounds. The way the teams are built, it's a two-person team. So you do need to have a partner to sign up for this. And when you do sign up, which I'll talk about shortly, you and your partner will sign up at the same time, register at the same time, and just one person pays. And I'll come back around to that. But the way that the rounds are set up is you and your team are against another team across the table, so to speak, though in this day and age, it will be a breakout room. And you guys will be going through a negotiation based on a fact pattern that we provide to you. The first round fact pattern is provided prior to the start of the competition, likely the week before. So you'll have some time to familiarize yourself and do some research on how to do a negotiation. I've provided some helpful links at the end of this PowerPoint for that. But this competition does not require any kind of outside research. It's just the patterns that I will be providing to you guys. So I'll come back around to that as well. Okay. The important part is right here, which is that to get credit for this competition, you have to complete a drafted contract 1 week after the competition. So the competition is on a Saturday. By the following Saturday, you and your teammate must turn in your drafted contracts, which you will each complete. Okay, so the way that it is broken down is that there are two preliminary rounds, and those are broken up into what we call flights, just to divide more evenly. So there will be a round one, flight two, and that's just the way we divide the teams. And then round two. From round two to the final round is the same fact pattern, with different issues arising and different people involved. So your very preliminary round is self-scored, and that's what I would think of as your warm-up round. That's the fact pattern provided to you the week before the competition. But then from there, you'll receive the following fact patterns 30 minutes before each of your rounds. So those are more on-the-spot preparation for the negotiations. Each team will receive a general fact pattern, and then each team, depending on who you're representing, receives a confidential fact pattern. And so those are like your details that you need to know for your client that you don't want to be sharing with the other team. So after the two preliminary rounds, we will advance to a semifinal round. 16 teams will advance. From there will be the final round, and there will be 4 teams selected from the finals as winners and runner-ups. And not only is there a winner for the actual negotiation, but after y'all turn in your contracts, there will be a winner for the contract drafting itself. Okay, this is the schedule, just so you have an idea of what the day will look like. If you advance past the preliminary rounds, everybody competes in the preliminary rounds, so everybody will be there from 8:30 to at least 1 o'clock. If you advance, then you should plan to be there for the rest of the afternoon into the evening as well, with some short breaks. Okay. I've discussed this a little bit, but the preliminary fact pattern will go out the Friday before the competition. So you and your partner will have a weekend to look at it, talk about your strategy, do whatever research you want to do about negotiation in general. But you will not do any kind of drafting prior to the competition. The contract that you draft will be based on one of the later fact patterns. Um, so you don't need to worry about getting a jump start on that. Let's see, I've discussed this. Okay. There's some lingo in here, which if you have not taken a negotiation course at school yet, you may not know. I've attached some links at the end of this just to give you a general idea of what these things mean. For negotiations, generally what you're wanting to identify is something called your BATNA and your reservation price. Your BATNA is a best alternative to negotiated solution. I don't actually know what the A means. Negotiated alternative, I think. But essentially, that's your walkaway point. So, what is your bottom line that you and your partner are willing to accept on each issue that you need to negotiate on? The way the scoring works is that you'll have several options. Like if issue one, you have three options. One option will give you 0 points, one option will give you like 5 points, one option gives you 10 points. But because of the confidential information, obviously each party is going to want different things. So the point of the negotiation is not to always get the highest point value on every issue. The point is to come to a middle ground where both people are kind of winning, and to get that edge where you can and get extra points where you can on issues that are important to your client. Okay. I've talked about this a little bit, so getting a little more in depth though. You'll get the general information on the problem, and then in your confidential information, you will learn what the critical issue is for your client. If you do not win on a critical issue, then you're going to be significantly at a disadvantage. So your critical issue generally will be different than the other sides. Or in some situations, each of you will have the same critical issue, but different goals regarding the issue. So that's something that is in bold when you receive the fact patterns and something to pay attention to. This is just a sample of how you can think about going through your negotiation. You will have 1 hour total to negotiate and come up to a resolution on all of your issues. So for each fact pattern, there could be 3 to 5 issues that you need to discuss and negotiate on. So you're going to have to do some time management. But you will spend a few minutes kind of taking turns. One side will kind of state, this is our story, this is what we're pitching, this is what we're looking for. The other side will take their turn. You'll spend a little bit more time kind of strategizing, how do we want to talk about these issues? Are we going to go through 1 through 5? Are the issues interwoven where it's like, if we decide this on this issue, then that affects this issue? So you're going to spend some time kind of discussing how you plan to move through the negotiation, and then actually moving through the issues themselves and doing the actual negotiation and deciding what the terms are going to be for each issue. You need to save yourself time at the end to summarize your agreement, because you're going to be taking notes through your negotiation, identifying what it is you've decided on for each issue, and making sure that you have that set in stone by the end of the negotiation. Giving you a sample of the judge's score sheet. So there is a score sheet for the negotiation itself, which tallies your points. And there is a judge's score sheet for the second prelim round, semifinals, and finals, where a judge will be in the room with you and will be evaluating these 5 areas as you complete your negotiation. Okay, and again, just a note on that critical issue. It's the most important thing that you need to figure out for your points. Okay, I've talked about this. If you're here, then obviously you're thinking about doing this competition already, so I probably don't need to push this too hard, but we do actually have cash prizes for this competition. Not only that, but if you are someone who's not sure you want to do litigation, this is a fantastic competition to kind of see what transactional practice looks like, because transactional practice obviously does a lot of contract drafting and a lot of negotiation. And then in litigation, generally, you still need negotiation skills. So it's still helpful. But the biggest reason for me is it's a one-day competition that gets you 1 hour of credit. Easiest credit you will ever get in law school. So definitely you should sign up. Okay, just some notes. You do need to show up prepared as if this were an in-person event. So please don't show up in your PJs. If you just want to throw a blazer on over a t-shirt, that's fine. We just need to remember that this is still a professional event. We will have practicing attorneys participating as judges, and we want to show our best side. Just a reminder about the communications over our fact patterns. Those are confidential. So please don't share those around. Obviously, you're going to put other people at a disadvantage, and that's not fair. One thing that I would note for Zoom is since you're not going to be in person, you want to make sure you have your phone number of your partner and know how to use the mute function, because if you guys need to take an aside from your negotiation and like discuss something, it's probably easiest to mute your Zoom breakout room and chat on the phone real quick or something, since y'all will not be in person together. So just be aware of that. Yeah, this is again on Zoom, so hopefully you won't have trouble showing up on time. After we have signups closed, I will be telling you guys where you need to be and at what time. So you should be aware of that. But yeah, show up, please. Okay, here's the stuff you need to know. At 6 p.m. today, you will be able to start signing up for this competition. The link is here already, but here's how the actual application works. You need to go to the advocates link. You need to pay for you and your partner. Only one person pays for both people. You should be aware whether your partner is an advocates member or not, because the options for payment are a total sum, and it can be like an advocates member and a non-member, which would be a different price than 2 advocates members. So I just don't want anybody to be overpaying or like doing the wrong one. So just know whether you're advocate member or not. You can become an advocate member up to the hour before the competition, although you probably need to sign up way before that because it's going to close. But if you become an advocates member, you can pay the advocates price, and any future competitions you do, you get the advocates price. So just be aware of that. And since one person is paying, you and your partner need to work out, are you going to Venmo me later your portion or whatever you need to do. After you pay on PayPal, one partner needs to do the registration link, which is a Google form, which gives me your name, what year you are, your contact information. It is super important that you complete both parts. You will need after you pay in PayPal, there will be a code for you that you need for the registration form. So pay on PayPal, get your registration code, then go to the Google form and fill that out with your registration code. All right. Please don't make me track you down for not doing both parts. Okay. If you're getting credit for this and you haven't done that before, you just need to make sure you turn in your contract in time. And then whenever you go in a future semester, you'll sign up for using this credit and it'll be verified on the back end. If you've already signed up to use it this semester, I have a list of those names so that I can verify that. One thing to keep in mind, and I've had this question already, is can I do this competition more than once? The answer to that is yes, you can, but something you need to verify with Derek Gabriel, I don't think you can sign up to use the same competition credit twice in one semester, because there's not a way to actually do that through the online system. So if you do, for example, this competition 2 times, you would have to use that credit in 2 different semesters, I believe. But that's something, if you're thinking about doing, verify with Derek Gabriel. He can give you an answer. Okay, these are just links for your use. These are short little articles from the Harvard negotiation page. I didn't know what any of these things were when I did the competition, and it was fine. So don't feel like you need to like do a bunch of studying. But I mean, if you want to do a little research, it'll probably help. Okay, let me get out of this. Do I have any questions? Matt Hudson, go ahead.
Hey, Adri. So I guess two questions. First, so like, are we going to be given which side we're on before we start preparing?
Yes. So for the very first round, you will know what side you're on when the fact patterns are released, because I will only release the confidential information to the side that you're assigned to, and everyone will get the general information. Same for the later rounds. Whenever you are given your fact patterns for that, you'll know which side you're representing. Good question. Um,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I
yeah.
had a second question.
Okay.
So I'm not going to be doing this for credit, but my partner is. So do I still need to like submit something for her to get credit or what?
That's actually a good question. You should not need to submit anything if you're not doing it for credit. As far as the drafted contract goes, she or he will still need to submit the drafted contract for credit. And let me double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that both partners have to submit their own drafted contract. So it should not impact anything that you don't complete one as a team. Let me go to BB's question in the chat. Do all participants have an opportunity to write the contract given it's based on a later fact pattern? Yes. I said later fact pattern. It will be based on one of the preliminary fact patterns. So everyone will be in the know on what happened and what you agreed to be able to draft that contract. Great question. Brooke Curry. What are the length requirements for the contract? I don't believe that there is a length requirement. It is a best efforts standard. I believe mine was like maybe 2 pages total. It's not a super complicated document. I'll see if I can't scrounge up like a sample or something to post so that y'all can see that. Landy.
Hi, Adria. I have two administrative questions.
Okay.
Sorry if I missed it. I'm in the office, so it's a little busy. What day is the actual competition?
Saturday, April 10th.
Okay, and then the contract is due the 17th.
Yes, by midnight on the 17th. So you have a full weekend day. Well, two, considering the Sunday after the competition to do it if you're like a working person.
Cool. And then as far as payment goes, so for two non-members, it's $100 paid by one person, correct?
Let me look at this. Yes, for two non-member, $100 paid by one person. It's up to you to get your partner to pay you back however y'all are splitting that. But yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Julie. Hi.
Hi, sorry. I was wondering, since it's via Zoom, if you and your partner can elect to be in the same room together anyway.
I'm not sure I understand your question. Like in the same breakout room?
Like if your partner and you were together in person and you're still via Zoom against the other team instead of like 4 little Zoom squares. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I think that my preference would be that you're each on your own screen. Okay. Just because I'm not actually sure how complicated it's going to be to break out everybody into the breakout rooms if we have like 40 teams. Let me think on that. That's a good question. I'm going to say for the recording here, I would prefer it if you're on your own laptop. That way I don't have to think about special teams that are not in separate breakout rooms. Or does that make sense?
I was following you till that very last part.
Okay. Just have your own laptop, and I will think about this issue more and come back with a solid answer. But for now, assume that you both need to be on your own screen.
Okay, but you could be physically at the same location, just on your own screen.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Kelsey has a thought on this.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say what she was saying is whenever we put you into breakout rooms, a lot of times we just get like a big list, make sure who's where they're supposed to be. So if we see 4 advocates, we're like, okay, everyone's where they're supposed to be. Whereas if you're on the same computer, maybe there's 3 people and we think someone's missing, whenever that's not actually the case. So just for the purposes of being able to make sure that it stays organized, if everyone could be on their own account, just so we can verify that, that'd be great.
Yeah, but to answer Julie and Meredith in the chat, you can physically be in the same room if you want to. We have to stand by UH policies as far as like, please social distance, please be safe, etc. But yeah, if you and your partner want to be in the same place on your own laptops, that's fine. Cool. Okay, I don't see any other raised hands. Are there any other questions at this moment? And remember, if something comes up and you think of a question, feel free to email me. Feel free to shoot me a text. Meredith, I'll come over to you.
So if we're both going for class credit, our contracts should be fairly identical that we're submitting, right? With your partner?
Yeah, they'll be pretty similar. You just both need to write them on your own.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. All righty. Any other questions? Sophie has a question.
When we're negotiating, is it just one person negotiating it at one time, or do we do it as a team?
It is a team effort. You might decide that one person is like the leader on a certain issue and divide it that way. It's really up to you and your partner. But to get your credit, I would prefer to see both people participating in the negotiation rather than one person just doing all of the talking. Good question. Okay, not seeing any other questions. We will be releasing this recording and sending out that PowerPoint so y'all have the links. Thank you for coming. And don't forget, sign up starts at 6 p.m. and once it's full, it's full. So you and your partner get it together and get signed up.
Yes, and last year it filled up in less than 24 hours. So just putting that out there. But also, I believe on the registration form, if you don't have a partner, there will be a little spreadsheet where you can put your name and information. So maybe, we can match up some people. So that will all be available to y'all.
All righty. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, does each partner have to register separately, or does one partner register for both of you? Because I know you pay together, but
yeah, one person registers for both. So when you do the Google form link, Google form, it has parts for person 1 and person 2. So one person will do all of the things.
Yes, and it's going to ask for both phone numbers and both email addresses. So maybe if you want to get with your partner, make sure to have that handy. That would be a helpful thing to do.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and you guys are free to go.